Hi Taurus, I hope you guys are doing great today. Welcome to your general messages for the 8th through the 15th of September. So we're going to start with a yes-no spread. Those of you new to my channel, you want to formulate one question in a full sentence format. One question, same question. Ask it the same way 3 different times in a full sentence format. And focus on the cards while you ask yourself that question. Anything you need to know having to do with relationship, career, family situation, anything like that. Okay. We pull 3 cards and then we formulate one solid outcome, okay? Card number 1, 7 of Wands, that's a yes. Card number 2, 10 of Pentacles, definite yes. Card number 3, 6 of Wands, 3 yeses, Taurus. Okay, so let's get into pulling some qualifiers for this, see what other messages we can get. So on the 9th this week, guys, we have Mars going retrograde in your 12th house. There's going to be some frustration in getting in touch with your wishes, your spirituality. You might feel a little frustrated in as far as really, first of all, it's a very introspective time. Spending a lot of time with yourself, that could be very frustrating for you right now. It's also the house of self-undoing, and where we try to get in touch with what areas in our life we sabotage ourselves, when we might get in our own way. So you might be in the space of struggling with that, because at the same time we have the Virgo sun is going to be illuminating your 5th house, which is fabulous. We love the 5th house. The 5th house has to do with romance, boyfriend-girlfriend relationships, the act of sex, what we do with our partner on a Monday through Sunday, our creativity, our entrepreneurial efforts, our children. So the sun is going to be shining on that. But at the same time, because we have Mars going retrograde on the 9th, we're going to feel this very deep sort of frustration as far as what we really want, as far as relationship with all of these things in the 5th house. Frustration in our creativity, frustration in our relationships, frustration with things having to do with our kids, So let's pull some qualifying energies. But it's not all bad. We have Jupiter going retrograde. Jupiter going direct finally after being in retrograde since May. We have Jupiter going direct on the 12th, which is awesome. And that's happening in your 9th house. 9th house has to do with, those of you in business, contracts, marketing, advertising, higher education. Higher education. Just talk about that for a second. Learning thing. I'm going to say so much learning new things. It has to do with higher education, teaching, contracts, again, advertising, marketing, belief system, long distance travel, dealing with people from other cultures. That's where the Jupiterian blessings are going to be happening for you. Now, I do want to say Jupiter is coming out of retrograde on the 12th. In your 9th house, as I said, fabulous, but still hanging out in there with Saturn, which is still retrograde until the end of the month. So things are going to start moving forward, but it won't start speeding up until the end of the month, until Saturn comes out of retrograde in there. But I also want to mention, though, that we have the Sagittarius in your 8th house is going to be supporting this 9th house energy where the Jupiter blessings are happening. An 8th house has to do with investments, other people's money, insurance payouts. It's a very heavy money house, as far as a very heavy house where we show up in partnership, our partner's money, how we blend with other. It has to do with intimacy. It has to do there's a lot of it. I could probably talk all day long about what's going to be going on there, but I just want to give you a heads up that beautiful blessings that are going to be starting on the 12th here, having to do with money, having to do with your belief system, having to do with how you blend with other in relationship. So good. All right. So I'm having some positive vibes here. So we're starting out with the 7 of Wands energy. So the 7 of Wands is about needing to, needing to protect oneself is the best way to put it. It really is it's an energy where you are needing to draw a line in the sand, okay? Where you're needing to really focus on what you want, need, and desire. And you need to pay attention to this, because it's like, you don't want to end up in a situation where you feel like you always need to defend yourself. This is a healthy card. It really, really is. It's very, very healthy. It's a Mars and Leo. Mars is good because Mars helps us go on the path of where we need to go. And Leo, in its illuminated form, is establishing what it is that you really want. As far as your creativity, as far as your relationship, as far as any sort of business decision. Really getting in touch with what it is that you want and not what your partner wants or not what society thinks you should have. And we have Temperance and the Ten of Wands here. So I feel like you're getting to this point because you've had it. You've totally had it. The Ten of Wands and the Temperance. First of all, the Ten of Wands indicates that there's an end of a cycle that just became ridiculous to keep trying to hold together. I mean, that's really what it is. It's a Saturn and Sagittarius energy. Something just became too difficult to be able to move forward in. So whether maybe it's a relationship, everything became too emotionally stressful, too heavy, and you needed to release that cycle. It's a minor arcana. It doesn't mean that you guys are breaking up, but it means that the way it was just became too challenging for you to continue dealing with, because Temperance is needed. And Temperance is a great compromise energy. It's an alchemical card, so it's about what do you need, what do they need, and what does the relationship need in order to be successful. And this is you saying like, hey, I know what I need, and you need to hear me out. Not in an argumentative way, but literally drawing a line in the sand. Okay, so that could be how it relates with relationship. For those of you in job, you may be in a form of employment where you are actively doing, or at least very interested in, fighting for the rights of others, because it's very much a Seven of Wands energy, where you're realizing, listen, the way things were before, that can't continue, and we need to find a compromise here where everybody is being treated in an equitable way. For others of you, having to do with career as well, or money, whatever it is that's been going on up to now, this is saying, okay, guess what? We need to take a time out. This needs to be like done the way it was. We need to sit down and have a conversation and get real. Let's just throw out all the extraneous nonsense and get in touch with what we really want, need, and desire to move forward. Now, the tricky part here, though, for you guys right now, between now and November, is having Mars retrograde in your 12th house. Keep in mind the 12th house bumps up against the first house of self. It really is getting in touch with what do you really want? What do you really want? And that's going to be the trippy part, is that you're going to, even if you get in touch with what it is that you really want, Mars retrograde says, okay, hold on. You have to think things through better. You can't do it yet. You can't move forward in something yet. You're not ready yet. You need to think about things more. You need to set things up a little more clearly. That's kind of like the energy that you're going to be experiencing. Even whether it's in a relationship, like you need to understand something needs to be handled differently. And whatever it is that you're here with, family connection, whatever it is. Ten of Pentacles is great. This is one of the marriage cards. Deepening of commitment, deepening of communication. This could also be family helping you out with resources, or you helping a family member out with resources. Particularly if it has anything to do with something that's going to incite a firm foundation. So maybe buying a home, purchasing a home, maybe they help you out in that way, or help you get into a home, maybe a business, helping you get into a business of some sort like that. But a beautiful kind of community vibe. I really like it. But it is also indicative of, for those of you with a relationship on your heart, again, marriage offers. But in the same way, having to do with career, it's like, hey, you want to go into business together? You want to do this together? Really connecting as far as like partnership goes, of all kinds. And then we have the Two of Wands and the Chariot. Okay, so let's talk about the Chariot first. The Chariot is a great energy because what happens here is a Cancer energy. So Cancer is that fourth house of home, roots, grounded, love, moon, Luna. I feel safe, I feel secure, all of that, right? So it's recognizing that what you've been in, however you've been doing something, whatever cycle you've been in, has ended up being toxic for you. Maybe not for the next person, but for you. Leaving that behind so that you can go to something that's much healthier. And we have the Two of Wands, which is exactly that path. Mars and Aries. This is a brand new perspective on a brand new path. This is a new. This is starting something new. So for some of you, this is like honestly starting a whole new cycle in a relationship, leaving the toxicity behind, really embracing a new approach to something, right? And having the communication that you need, having the money that you need, having the external support that you need to make something work. If this has to do with the job, that job wasn't meant for you anyway. It wasn't meant for you. If you're changing majors in school, that major was not meant for you anyway. It would not have been a good thing for you. So now it's a very forward focused energy. So this is, you're going to be very, very forward focused. Now I do want to mention also that on the 12th, Jupiter is coming out of retrograde. Now remember, Jupiter rules Sagittarius, so we have to understand where Sagittarius is in your chart as well. Now this is a general message, guys, so I'm talking about the archetype of Taurus, not your personal chart. So where the ninth house right now, which has to do with, again, everything I said before, higher education, belief system, right? We have this being pushed up against with the support of the 8th house energy. So I definitely see super good energy for those of you in relationship, really good energy for those of you in a business partnership. Also a really good energy for those of you who are set to get some sort of payout, settle some sort of lawsuit, something like that, where there's a payout. Very benefic energy here. 6 of Wands is about success and respect. All right, and how's that going to happen? How are you going to have success? Well, 8 of Wands will do it. Look at this. We get the 6 of Swords and we have the 8 of Wands. A 6 of Swords is, again, leaving the toxicity of something, even if in only your mind, recognizing that something was just not meant to be, that you need to at least step away from something. You need to, this is really about, though, I'm understanding this is really being very cognizant about changing your mindset on something, Taurus. As we have the 8 of Wands, the 8 of Wands is positive news coming in, some sort of positive information, any form of communication. So it could be via email, snail mail, text message, phone call, however it is, but it's a message coming in that's positive, that's going to incite change and movement, that's going to help further incite firm foundation. Because the 8 of Wands go really high up and then they go boom down into the ground for a very firm foundation. And that is what's going to be leading to the success. But in doing so, something needs to be left behind. So either negative thinking, a negative energy that you've been allowing to do a number on in your life. Now, guys, sometimes 6 of Swords could even be needing to love a family member from a distance. Unfortunately, if somebody is really trying to stop us from moving forward and be the best version of ourselves, we need to say, look, I love you, I value you, but this is my life. I can't do it under your rules or under the way what you think is right. I need to be in an energy where I feel more supported and I could go forward in the way that really resonates with me, because after all, like I said, this is my life, right? But this is never an easy energy. Whenever we have the Chariot, and we have the Chariot and the 6 of Swords, two, like leaving toxicity behind. Chariot is a major arcana though. Like this is like seriously leaving anything that's toxic, Taurus. Making the decision to leave something. So this could be anything that you've allowed in your past that didn't serve you, whether it's your own mindset. And I'm saying this because we have Mars retrograde in your 12th house. So you're going to be doing a lot of thinking here. You're going to be doing a lot of rearranging. Mars is going to be in your internal sense of self saying, all right, what do we need to throw out? What needs to come forward with us? It's all about making you be the best version of you. So if that relationship isn't working, you need to keep them in the rearview mirror. If that action that you consistently keep bringing into your space based on whatever issues from your past, you need to look at that now and not do it anymore. You need to figure out where are you getting in your own way in order to be able to move into the best version of your life and your experience. So whatever it is, even whether it has to do with, career, money, anything like that. Okay, so let's pull some Lenormand, and then after that we're going to pull some love oracles. Yeah, you've been bearing the burden of somebody else's issues, Taurus. I mean, that's this card. This is like the Christ card, right? Christ carried the cross and was nailed to the cross for our sins, as it goes. Stick with the metaphor, whether you believe or not. Doesn't really matter. It's about what, what it represents. And okay. Oh, I have to pull one more. Hold on. Oh. Okay. Yeah, something you need to see. It's definitely something you need to see. So the cross is something needs to end. Yeah, there's definitely something that's very negative in your experience that needs to end, because you've been bearing the burden of somebody else's actions. So this often comes up where, we need to bear the burden of issues that go on with our parents, issues that go on with our partner, bearing the burden of a partner who has some sort of addiction issue, bearing the burden of controlling parents, or parents who are trying to get us to live the life that they want for us instead of the life that we need for ourselves, right? But really needing to unknot elements within ourselves that were incited because of our parents. Maybe they were well-intended, but they created the situation of your childhood, of your upbringing, of your dynamic right now, maybe creating scars in you that are getting in your own way, and you're needing to bear that burden. But with that release comes redemption. So there needs to be this point at which you say, okay, in order for me to be anchored, I must really address what needs to be released and ended, because there's an ending here that has been brought into my experience by somebody else. Because we have the scathe, but the scathe, we always have to look at, the scathe is about cutting something out. And we always have to look at where is the point pointing to, what's going to be cut out. Well, we don't want to cut out the clover. The clover is good luck. It's positive energy. Okay, so if this is telling me, I'm going to speak to those of you in relationship now that are in a challenging position. If you're in a situation where there is an ending of something, okay, there's an ending of something, and the ending is inciting this feeling of you not feeling very grounded. We have this experience here where it's the cutting out of good luck, and then we have the park. Let's just interpret all the cards and we'll pull it together, which has to do with social media, networking, getting out there, making something happen, right? And then we have the snake, which is very duplicitous. It's like, yeah, no, really, you can trust me kind of thing. Very duplicitous kind of energy. The snake is not, something is not what it appears, but you're very conscious of time. And you're very conscious of the fact that you need to see something differently. Because when we have the cage, when we have the bird cage, you can keep it open and do some really good deep work in that 12th house, really getting in touch with what makes you tick, quite literally, and what it is that you need. Or you can remain in a gilded bird cage where you're not going to grow and things are not going to come to you in the way that you're really looking for. But right now, I am getting a sense for some of you. Again, going back to this social media, it's networking, it's connecting with other people, okay? So I'm getting that you've been dealing with a person or a group of people that have been incredibly duplicitous, and that they promised you the world with the clover. They promised you that things were going to be a particular way, and that this connection was going to, end up bearing some kind of fruit, whether it was in a great relationship or whether it was in some sort of amazing job opportunity, some sort of fabulous business, whatever it is. The understanding here is that was absolute BS. That this person actually was speaking out of both sides of their mouth. That energy needs to be cut out. It needs to be cut out. Because there is an ending here. Now the ending in the cross can be what's necessary in order for you to feel grounded, but it's through this cutting out of this energy that it's going to happen. Now, because you're very mindful of time, for whatever reason, either time in, you feel like pressure because of time, whatever it is, there's an element of time here. But you need to make the decision Even though something is necessary to cut out of your life and your experience, you're having a hard time with it. But you need to make the decision. Are you going to keep yourself in that gilded cage because it's easier and more comfortable to keep something toxic in your life rather than making the change that you need to make? Or is it better for you to release it? Release any duplicity in your life. Release anything that is not speaking to your soul, your belief system, your moral code, your moral compass, what you want to do with your life, how you want to make money, the person you want to connect with. Because remember, we have that 8th house, which is supporting that 9th house energy. The 8th house is big. It's the house of transformation. Yeah, it has to do with other people's money. It has to do with investments. It has to do with all of that. But it has to do with how we show up with other. And there's somebody else coming in and trying to dictate how you do that. Past, present, challenge, outcome. Qualify for the Tower is the 8 of Wands. Qualify for the Magician is the 10 of Wands. Nice. Wheel of Fortune is qualifying the Page of Swords, the challenge. And then we got the Unknown card for the Moon. Ooh. So we have a lot of 12th house energy here. Woohoo! Even though the moon rules Cancer in Tarot, the moon is connected to Pisces, which is the 12th house. Very introspective energy here. So the Tower. Now the Tower doesn't have to mean the pulling down of something. People get very scared of the Tower energy because it's the ending of something. It's like the lights got turned on and something became very illuminated. You can't ignore it anymore, and it's got to change. And it's over the way it was. So it could have been the ending of that job, the ending of that relationship. Could have been the ending of something. But it can also be the lights come on and you see things from a totally different perspective as far as how you've been viewing something. The lights get turned on, you're like, oh my gosh, how was I thinking that way? Or, oh my gosh, I can't believe I've been allowing this to go on. You understand? Because it could be that we can have Tower moments, and we do have Tower, not that we do have Tower moments throughout our life all the time where, if we're lucky, right? Because you need the Tower in order to grow. Remember, the Tower is a Mars energy, and Mars comes in as like, come on, Taurus, you don't belong here anymore. That thing, that cycle, that person, that job, that whatever you were doing, totally not meant for you. That way of thinking, not going to serve you in the long run. Come on, let's go this way. Let's go on this path. Because Mars is connected to the Chariot, which is about leaving toxicity, which is connected to Cancer, which is about getting in touch with what you really need to feel grounded, to be grounded, not even to feel. So we have the 8 of Wands energy. This is some information coming in that's going to incite, some sort of really good information is going to be coming in or came in that really required you to either have this epiphany or make this decision to end something. So this could be a job offer coming in and you making the decision. You knew it was a long time coming. The thing with the Tower energy, it's a long time coming. It's not like a new thing. A new thing is not going to come down. This is like something that's been built, but the foundation of it wasn't really very strong, really, at the end of the day. Doesn't mean it's not going to be painful. It just means that it was not ultimately meant to stand the test of time. So some sort of message came in that incited this ending. So either you ended something, somebody else ended something, or some sort of information came to you into your level of consciousness. I'm going to say it like that because we have Mars retrograde in your 12th house, into your level of consciousness where you're like, you know what? Wow, I can't think like that anymore. This information that I'm receiving right now makes so much sense in the grand scheme of things. So you right now, you're the Magician. So you're really actively working on making something work for yourself. The Magician is an alchemical energy, and it's Mercury. Mercury rules the 3rd and 6th house, which is 3rd house is the landlord is Gemini, which is about communication. You're in a space of learning new things. You could be in a student energy for sure right now, having to do particularly with higher education, or just learning a new way of approaching something. If this has to do with a family situation, this could have to do with working things out between siblings, working things out with extended family. But whatever you're learning, whatever you're working out, whatever you're doing is meant to incite change in your day-to-day. meant to incite change in your day-to-day work environment, meant to incite your relationship with your coworkers or colleagues, meant to incite change within your mental, physical, and emotional health. Because the third house, again, is Gemini, right? Mercury rules Gemini. But the sixth house of Virgo energy rules our health, mental, physical, and emotional. So that you being able to figure out a new approach, learning something new, communicating in a different way, doing something where you're very proactive, that's going to end up inciting change in your day-to-day environment, inciting change in your mental, physical, emotional health. So Magician energy a lot of times is like it's making the decision to seek out therapy, learn something new, make that phone call to that person it's been plaguing you, right? To actually call them and reach out and have that conversation, right? All these things are going to affect you in a day-to-day and also as far as your health goes. We have the Ten of Wands. Ten of Wands is needing to decide to end something, making the cognitive, there's a great purpose here with the Ten of Wands. Something's got to end. Saturn and Sagittarius, making something end. So now if you're connecting with this as far as career, this could be the kind of situation where you've known for a long time that you've had to end this job. But because you've been so busy and so overwhelmed with the responsibilities of the job, of home, of all of everything else, it's kind of a catch-22. It's like you knew you had to leave, but you didn't have the time to sit and do the job hunt. So you knew something needed to end. And it is the kind of energy where it's like, I have all this going on and no one else can change it but me. Or no one else could come in and do the job that I'm doing but me. And it's the kind of energy where you don't even want to listen to other people. You really don't. If something is going on within the relationship and it's just becoming too challenging and you know it, you don't want to hear it from other people. You don't want to hear it. But the Ten of Wands does incite, like, it became too much and you need to put the wands down. Ending of a cycle. But here we have with the Magician, really making some changes in your day-to-day environment. So something ended, fine. The cycle, the way it was, it's still a minor arcana. So some cycle is done and you're here very busy creating a new cycle in your life. And we have the Page of Swords. So the Page of Swords is some sort of information coming in. Now, this is your challenge. This is in your challenge position. So you're having a hard time right now. Of course you're having a hard time because Mercury is retrograde in your 12th house. And it's frustrating because you have the sun is shining on your 5th house of creativity and where you come up with things that you really want. But you're going to have this block in your 12th house of wishes, of formulating your wishes, of being able to act on your wishes. So you're having a hard time really kind of troubleshooting in the mental space of, keeping it real, pragmatic, right? What do I need to move forward? The ideas might be popping, but the challenge is in trying to move them forward. And the Wheel of Fortune, this is your challenge. It's Jupiter energy. Having to do with a job, first of all, this indicates meeting somebody new. This indicates finding a new job. This indicates if you are in a relationship and you're broken up now, getting back together, and it only working if both parties are on the same page. If you have to work too hard at the relationship, it's not going to be blessed by Jupiter. If you maybe broke up for a silly reason, it's definitely going to be blessed by Jupiter. But this is in the challenge position. The challenge is moving that wheel forward, right? This is very sort of destiny driven. So you feel destiny knocking at your door, right? With that 12th house energy. You feel the ideas happening, but you're like, I can't make them happen fast enough. And it's very frustrating. Now, the outcome here is the Moon and the Unknown card. Yeah, okay. Guys, honestly, this is the situation. This is kind of going along with the circumstance right now, where right now you need to put your ducks in a row, control what you can, recognize what you can't, wait for these energies to pass. They will. Believe me, everything, right now, currently, up to this week, we've had 5 planets retrograde. We're going to have 5 planets because now Jupiter is going to be coming out of retrograde, but Mars is going to be going in retrograde. Saturn is going to be coming out of retrograde the end of the month. So there's a lot of feeling of restriction, but there's this need that you guys have to go deep within. There is no question. The astrology is indicating it, and the tarot is indicating it. Taurus, you need to go within and really do some very deep soul searching. But the recommendation here really is don't make any big decisions right now. Right now, I feel like you guys are feeling like these sort of flowers unfolding, opening up. But you're really not sure what that even means for you right now. You feel the change, but you're not sure what it all means. So I'm definitely feeling here that there is this element of needing to wait and see. Needing to wait, because that's the moon energy, is thinking and feeling and, really getting in touch with yourself. Be very honest, though. It's so challenging when we have any energies in the 12th house, nonetheless a retrograde energy, because now it's like, I know things are unclear, but you have to do the best you can to figure out what your next step is going to be. That's kind of the energy here, and you feeling frustrated. So just understand, it's going to be a little bit, and it's going to be a frustrating week, because whenever we go into a retrograde and like right out of a retrograde, the energies are very heightened. So you're going to be feeling it strong this week, okay? It's only for this week. Okay, now for those of you in relation, let me put this back because I didn't. Those of you in relationship, let's pull a couple of love oracles, okay? I don't know if I can ever be exactly who you expect me to be. I need more time to figure things out, but I don't want to lose you. So you could be feeling like this about someone, or somebody could be feeling this about you. Conflict is a necessary step in the growth process. Be patient. This will pass. Someone else got that. I think Libra got that. The chaser. Chaser in a codependent relationship. Fear of abandonment issues. Boat. Receiving what you need. Progression. Arriving. Moving on. Closure issues. Releasing. Separation. Sadness. Missing you. Thinking about you. Yearning. Unsure of the future. Three of Coins. Building. King of Wands. Judgment. So definitely needing to make a decision about something from the past. Definitely needing to make a decision. But the thing is with the Judgment energy, it's Pluto, and Pluto is about transformation. So this is you, really healthy Taurus, understanding you need to get to the point of recognizing that whatever you've done in your life, you've always done the best you knew how in the moment. Everyone does. Everyone did. That's always the way it is. Even if we don't agree with what the person did, even if we don't like in retrospect what we did, we have to understand that in that moment, we were working with the tools in our toolbox, the best that we knew how. The King of Wands energy is very much about getting in touch, right? This is just about getting in touch here with what it is that you need to feel very safe, what it is that you feel very excited by at the same time, right? Because this is Cancer and Leo. So getting in touch with, the romance energy is that Leo, and at the same time feeling very safe and secure. Three of Coins is a building energy, right? Mars and Capricorn, figuring out like what you need, like the blueprint of what you need in this relationship in order for it to work. And really the nut of it all really is the need to recognize that transformation needs to happen here. And in order for transformation to happen, there needs to be forgiveness. So if there can be forgiveness, there can be a rebuild. But again, this is a general message, so it's going to resonate with each of you differently. But that this does indicate to me that there's been conflict about somebody wanting somebody to be a particular way and somebody feeling like they couldn't show up as that, and really not understanding if they want to get back into something, if it's actually worth continuing to explore, right? Maybe somebody needing something more than can be given, right, with the chaser energy. But I do see that there right now, if you're resonating with this, you guys are in a space of separation, because there needs to be these, this recognition of, there needs to be forgiveness, there needs to be this recognition of the need for safety, and for there to be an actual plan, because the Three of Coins is a plan to build and move forward. What's the plan? There needs to be a definitive structure, because it's Mars and Capricorn. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. What are we going to do in the 3D to actually move this forward? So that would be necessary here. But right now, it does seem like there is some indecisiveness going on here for sure. And it's very prevalent for you because we have the sun shining on that 5th house. So, all right, my friends, that is what I have for you. I hope this was helpful in some way. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you guys next week. Okay? Take care now. Bye-bye.